Yes, my name is Anne Niluka. I'm 34 years old and I'm a journalist. I started out feeling very positive about the whole new movement and that people seemed to be interested in listening to Black and brown voices. But now we're like 2-3 weeks into it and I'm just tired. I'm tired of answering the same questions all the time. I'm tired of journalists asking people, is racism a thing in Denmark? I'm tired of politicians continuously denying that racism exists in Denmark. And I'm just... I'm kind of losing hope, actually, because the more I and others keep talking, the more it seems like people stop listening. And even though we come bearing our broken hearts and repeating our traumas, they seem to not get it or question our intentions, or if what we're saying is even true. So yeah, I'm less hopeful than I was. I cope with racism right now by not feeding into it. I'm done debating. I don't want to debate if racism exists. I just stopped. And I have a small platform, and if people want to listen to me, then I'm happy to share what I have to share, and I would like to engage with people who at least seem to be able to have a normal and valid discussion about racism. But I'm not going to spend my time defending my viewpoints or talking about if racism exists. Well, I'm adopted, so I grew up with white parents in a small village, and the majority was white people. So I've just always lived in a very white society. So it started out when I was like 5-6 years old. And up until then, I think I was a pretty happy child. And I didn't think a lot about how I looked. But suddenly I had to think about it every day, because I realized I'm not invisible like other people. My skin color, the way I look, is the first thing people meet when they meet me or see me. And that's what they react to. So it was a lot of like, go home to where you come from, climb up in the trees with the other monkeys. I was subjected to a lot of violence, primarily from the boys in my class. And since then, it's been a lot of sexualized racism. And when I date or when I go out, or and just shopping with people, following you around the store, asking you if you have the money to pay for this, or older people not wanting me to sit next to them in the bus, or telling me, oh, you people are like this or like this. And I have 2 girls, and the main thing for me is I want to talk about this now. It's important to me that they don't have to have the same experiences that I've had. But I know I can't protect them. It's very difficult to meet racism when you're out in public and you have your girls with you, and they're like, why did that man say that to you, mom? And I try to explain to them that some people have prejudice just because we look like we do. And it's very difficult to explain that to a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old. Yeah. when we experience racism, it depends on what kind of racism it is. A lot of times, people may pass you and they may say something racist under their breath. So it's like, and I hear it, and my girls are like, "What did that man say?" I might just say, "Well, nothing. It wasn't about us." But when it's very blatant, I have to try to explain it to them and just say, some people are just not nice. That's how the world is. I'm sorry, but we're strong, and we can get through this together, and that's not going to break us. I don't think my girls have a lot of understanding about their difference right now. I know the oldest does. She faced it for the first time when she was in kindergarten, when some girls told her that she couldn't be Elsa from Frozen because she had short brown hair and darker skin. And she came home crying and telling me, "Mom, they say I can't be a princess because I'm not white." So we had to have that conversation. I think the youngest, she's quite white, actually, because their father is a white man. And it hurts me, and I feel a lot of shame about it. But when I had her, I was very happy that she doesn't look that much like me, because she can pass as a white person. Det er så fint. When I was younger, my skin color was just always a part of the conversation. There wasn't anybody else named Anne, but anyway, they always called me N-word Anne. And when you hear it every day, 10 times a day, you become desensitized. So my way of dealing with it was just laughing along, because that was the easy way to deal with it. When I got older, it was a lot of, "Oh, just take it as a compliment. You have that nice skin color. Oh, you're so exotic, blah, blah, blah." And probably for like 20 years, I just laughed it away and smiled and took it all, because I heard it every day for my entire life. So I didn't know how to react to it. And I didn't know it was wrong. I didn't know it was okay for me to say, "No, I don't want to hear it. Please look at me like I'm a person, not my skin color, not my hair, not my big lips, just like you would approach anyone else." So it's a new thing for me. The funny thing is, I think when you grow up in a primarily white society, you tend to just normalize any as a racist behavior, because you don't have any other brown or black people you can talk about it with. So it's just a normal part of your life. But when I when I was younger, I experienced a lot of guys approaching me and talking about my brown body and what their thoughts about that body was. It's a lot of, "Oh, you're so exotic, and you have these big lips. You must be very good at giving blowjobs." And I just took a lot of it, smiled, laughed, because I didn't know what to say. And I didn't know that it was okay for me to say, "Stop, you're grossing me out. It's not okay." Right now that I'm older, I'm much less of a convenient person. I don't care. I don't have a problem with breaking a cozy mood. I'm fine with speaking out and saying no. I don't want to listen to that. Please stop. It doesn't bother me at all. It does bother me when people approach me like that. It doesn't bother me telling them no. And I've recently started, I recently started online dating. No, I got a Tinder app, and to me it was very exciting because I've been in a relationship for a lot of years. So to me Tinder is a new thing, but like instantly it was like people in my inbox with the, oh, you're so exotic, oh, you look like Princess Jasmine, oh, you're a brown girl, you must be wild in bed, blah blah blah. And I'm like, what the, do you approach white women that way? And I'm like, don't. Oftentimes I just delete, block. But sometimes I've tried to write back like, why do you approach every woman like that? And what I get in response is like, oh, you're so moody, why are you so angry? It's just a compliment, don't take it that serious. And I remember I responded to one guy and I just wrote to him, maybe you should consider how you approach women instead of blaming me for being angry. If I had anything to say about how we talk about racism in Denmark, it would be that firstly we have to acknowledge that racism in Denmark exists. I don't want to have that conversation anymore. There is racism, the end. Because I'm a journalist, I would like my fellow journalists to be more critical of how they interview people. I think there's a lot of just facilitating people's racism and not being critical at all, because the last 20 years we've seen a shift in how we talk about minorities in Denmark. Now it's okay to call somebody a bad word. And politicians who sit in Christiansborg can call people herger and be proud of it, and nobody says anything about it, and she's still there, and I don't get it. I just want us to have a normal, reflective conversation about it, and that people would start listening and not just defend their point of views. And I would like there to be less hygge-racism, because even though we put hygge in front of it, it's still racism, and it's not nice. It's not hyggeligt. This is our time. This is the momentum we have, so we have to do it now. I don't recall that in all of my lifetime ever being a time like this, where people seem to be ready to listen, or at least some of them are. And I hope it will be something we can keep on discussing and talking about. That it isn't a fad, that it isn't something we talk about for the next month, and then it's something else, then it's the climate, then it's whatever, Corona again, or Trump, or something else. I hope that we can change something, at least in the everyday Dane's life. If you're a white Dane and you could consider yourself anti-racist, then you have to have the difficult conversations. You have to talk to your parents, you have to talk to your racist uncle, and you have to talk to your friends. You have to say something when you hear it. It's not okay just to say that you're an ally or post something on your Instagram. You have to have the difficult conversations. And I know it's not nice, but it isn't meant to be pleasant. It's not pleasant for us, but it's just our everyday life. And this is something that you can do for your fellow people. Just have the conversations, talk about it, say no to racism actively, not just on your Instagram or your Facebook.